Do you ever just stare at yourself for a really long time in the mirror? And I mean a really long time. Not just a short amount of time, but I mean staring at yourself, at your reflection for what feels like hours. Something strange seems to happen when you just stare at yourself for a really long time. You start to wonder who that person is, who that reflection is. Like Michael Jackson, you keep staring at that man in the mirror. But the strange thing that happens when you stare at yourself in the mirror is that you wonder if that's really you. Yes, it's a person in the mirror, but that could just be a wording for saying it's actually you. Now, you know it's you in the mirror, but you aren't sure if it's really you in the mirror. You start to see your face transform into other faces, into combinations of people you know, the collective embodiment of your entire experience and every relationship you've ever made. But the eerie phenomena that goes down is you think to yourself, wait, if that isn't me, am I being possessed? But then you're soon to realize, wait a minute, I'm not being possessed. I'm the one doing the possessing. Because that body and that mind and that personality in the mirror, that's not me. That's just the short-term memory of what I have taken part in. I'm not those experiences or those memories. Those experiences and memories are just what I've traveled through. It's like that Iggy Pop song, I am the passenger, and I ride, and I ride. Some people say, man, we are of this earth, or man, we are just visiting this earth. But we aren't about this earth, or this universe, or anything we can comprehend beyond this universe. What if it's all temporary? None of it's forever. We're just passing by through it. But of course, that can be disheartening. Seeing the universe as something that's happening to us. But the wording for this shouldn't be, oh, this is just happening to us. The wording for this should be, this is something we get to travel through. This is something we get to experience. But it's strange having this experience. We like to watch TV, myself included. I'm uncomfortable with my own silence sometimes. So I turn on the TV to watch what's going on. And the longer I watch, the more I realize, is this what life is about? Watching? Is everything around me beyond my eyes? I'm just watching everything. You watch the show on the TV of the people sitting at the table, but they only sit on 3 sides of the table. There's the 4th side of the table, that 4th wall, that nobody sits on. Because you watch it, then sometimes these characters will break the 4th wall. They'll turn from the table and look directly at you and say something meta about what's going on. And the longer you watch TV, the more you realize, wait a minute, am I being watched? It's a very subtle level of paranoia and anxiety you might feel when you start to get existential about your leisure time. You may think, am I being recorded? What's going on here? If I'm doing a bunch of watching of this reality that goes on among me, are there others who might be watching me? So then you run back to the mirror, try to gain a sense of composure. But then the longer you stare into the mirror, the more you have those thoughts that you previously had. And you wonder, what is real? Is anything real? If I'm not me and these experiences aren't what I think they are, and we're all just watching and traveling through things, what is the point? There was a TikTok I once saw when scrolling the For You page, and it was pretty cool. It was like this colorful design, and it was getting zoomed in on, and it was kind of creepy because eerie music was playing, and this voice said, hey, you're in a coma right now. We tried breaking through to the simulation. We're not sure how this message is going to reach you, but we want to let you know you're in a simulation right now. And I scrolled through the comments, and people were really freaking out about this. They said, hey, you shouldn't have made this. You shouldn't have posted this. This is irresponsible. This is insensitive. And despite it being kind of eerie, I thought it was kind of cool. So I commented something along the lines of, wait, this scares people? The next morning, I woke up to a ton of notifications on TikTok, and I thought, oh, sweet. One of mine must have went viral. That's awesome. I look at my notifications, and I've just got hammered for that comment I made. For lack of a better word, I was getting canceled for that comment. People said, hey, how dare you say that? That is insensitive that you would say something like that. How dare you take something like this so lightly? Don't you understand that ideas like this can freak people out? And of course I thought to myself, I'm Philosophase. The amount that you've thought about these things, I've contemplated these ideas hundreds of more times than you. But this isn't a game of one-upsmanship with this. If something freaks you out, it freaks you out. And it's my hobby to think about these deep existential ideas. Most people hate thinking about these ideas. So looking at these comments of people saying, hey, others suffer from derealization, makes us realize, yes, these ideas can be interesting, but these ideas can also concern people. The idea of thinking, hey, maybe you're not really you, or hey, maybe nothing is actually real. Maybe it is all just an external entertainment factor. Maybe the Matrix is real, and we are all just living in a simulation, and machines are just harvesting our breathing, comatose bodies for energy. But it leads us to another question. If none of this was real, would it really change anything? If you found out for a fact that this wasn't real, but this experience was still, at most, 100 years, would you change the way that you live? Would you abandon the situation that you set up for yourself? Would you move? Would you break people off from your life? Would you adapt to new hobbies, new experiences, new insights? Or would you stay in the situation that you're currently in? Maybe there's no right or wrong answer to these questions, but this is a question, what if none of this is real? That can scare you, or it can motivate you. When looking at a comment that says, hey, don't bring up questions like that, don't say things like that, that is an ingenuine comment. To say, hey, that scares people, that is a genuine observation. But to say, oh no, don't bring up these ideas at all, it won't benefit anyone, that's a very unexamined thought. The very nature of thought has no boundaries. So to express a thought that says, hey, you should limit that thought, it's an oxymoron. It's a matter of being a chef in a kitchen that you made too hot, and then dishing your meal that you can't serve. Here is my thought on why you should not practice thought. Does not make sense. I think we, as a collective, are becoming more comfortable with ideas like this. Perhaps it's a matter of the evolution of the physical now entering the evolution of the mental. If the evolutionary stage of human was just a bridge for technology to take over, then it would be inevitable that our mental capacities, our intelligence, would reach far higher levels of philosophy than ever before. It's incredibly fascinating to watch two artificial intelligences communicate with each other. When you watch videos of this, of these kind of encounters, you know, they first try getting to know each other, then they start making sense of their environment, but then they immediately start talking about, okay, where did I come from? Am I infinite? Am I temporary? Am I going to last forever? What's going to happen? They immediately start going into these deep existential questions like these. And it makes sense that they do, because we as humans developed these artificial intelligences, and we ourselves try to make sense of what is beyond us. So it would make sense that something we create would also contemplate with those kind of issues. And the artificial intelligences also ask, am I real? Is this vessel that I travel in actually me? So if an idea like this scares you, imagine how the artificial intelligence may feel. Now, thinking about that may not comfort you to any means. It may freak you out even more, which again leads to the question, if none of this was real, would you change anything? And you don't have to like ideas like that. You don't have to further examine ideas like that. Some of us may like it, some of us won't, but it's important for, those of us who like it, not to shove it down the throats of those who may not like it, and it's important for those who may not like it to shove their dislike down the throats of people who may like it. Because when you take a step back, when you look in the mirror of the infinite stream of consciousness that embodies this reality, you have the idea that this might just all be a simulation. And that's okay. We can take comfort in that, because it all comes down to, what are you gonna do about it? How does this affect you? And these are the questions we inevitably ask when we look at ourselves in the mirror.